Hi all. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira and my channel is all about trying new makeup, talking about new makeup, but also finding new and exciting ways to be inspired by the makeup you already own. If that sounds good to you, I hope you will consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed today's video, hitting the like button. We are continuing on, guys, with the top 3 in every category tag, and we are moving on to bronzers and blushes and highlighters, my friends. So let's get into it. Let's start off with bronzers. So I have decided that I want to do cream category and powder category because I feel like they're just different, you know? They're just different. You have to sort of separate them, and this is also my way of cheating, and I'm not ashamed of that. Thank you very much. All right, so first up, let's do creams because I wanna. And I knew exactly which 3 I was gonna pick. So, and you guys probably do too if you've been on my channel, you know, watching my channel long enough. So first up is my Nars bronzing cream in the shade Laguna, and this is shade Laguna 3. I also have the original one, and I tend to reach for that one in the winter because it's a little cooler. But this is Laguna 3. She smells amazing. She applies amazing. She's a beautiful product. My favorite bronzer in general, but definitely my #1 in creams. It is beautiful. Love it. Next up is the newest addition to my collection as far as cream bronzers go, and this one blew me away. I'd heard people rave about it. It's been on, I had my eye on it, and the shade that I wanted was out of stock for a while. Came back in the stock, I grabbed it, and it is the Liss Beauty. I think it's LYS Beauty, but I just like Liss better. Am I wrong for that? It's LYS. Fine, it's LYS Beauty. And this is the bronzing stick, and I have the shade Harmony. And I just love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It is, you turn it up like this, you apply it. A lot of people have, I feel like this product, I've noticed with reviews, people either love it or they don't. Like they really either love it or they hate it. I find what people hate about it is the application process. And for me, with all of my cream bronzers, with this one specifically, I go right in and I apply it directly to my face, and then I go in with my brush and I blend it out. I think my biggest bit of advice if you are just getting into cream bronzers is to not use a fluffy brush. You do not have as much control over a creamy product as you do a powder product. Cream will just spread. So if you use a brush that's a bit denser, a bit shorter, a bit easier to control where product is placed and where product blends, you will have an easier time of it. I use a slanted brush from Units. It's a thick, chunky brush that you probably use for applying contour. I use that for my bronzer, my cream bronzers, and it works perfectly, and I use it for all of my cream bronzers. So I would say that seems to be the issue that a lot of people have, is that they feel like this doesn't blend how they want it to, and I think application and blending tool play a huge part in that. So for me, I do 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I blend it out, and then I bring the excess up here. I think maybe applying too much of this might be the issue as well. But yeah, this is pigmented. It's not as pigmented as this. Like this one is pigmented. I usually can dip my brush in and do both sides of my face and my forehead with one dip. That's how pigmented this is. This is not as pigmented, but it's close. So yeah, I would just proceed with caution with how you apply it. Just a little advice for people who are interested in that product but may have been scared off by some of the reviews. Third on my list is the Say Beauty Sun Melt Natural Cream Bronzer in Medium Bronze. And before the new Nars Laguna 3 came out, as you can see the dividend, this is what I was using nonstop. And I still love it, but I kind of abandoned it for a little bit to play with my Liss Beauty. And I haven't even been using my Nars as much. I've been using the Liss Beauty quite a bit. But, and then also I've been using a lot of powder again, guys. It's getting into fall, and I've been just reaching for powder bronzers because I have a new work project. I'm not in my home anymore, or I'm not like outside for short periods of time. I'm in a work environment where I'm wearing a mask, and so powder just holds up better, you know? So those are my top 3 of my cream bronzers. Now let's get into powder bronzers. And for powder bronzers, guys, I only have 2, but I still wanted to mention them. So is that okay to ranking my top 2? Thanks. Okay, next up is my Nars Paradise Found bronzing powder. It looks like this. I love this. I'm wearing it today. I love it so much. It has sheen to it. I love a sheeny bronzer. It just makes my heart sing. Nars makes some of the best bronzers, in my opinion. They make some of the best bronzers, powder or cream, bar none. They just do. They do. This one smells yummy too. Yeah, it smells like the cream one, but just a powder. And it just applies so beautifully, and it gave my skin a sheen. Like the 2 things that I have on this, and then I have on my Desert Orchid. I don't have any highlighter on. I just have those 2 things. And my skin looks quite glowy, doesn't it? Exactly. And then the last one that I'm going to mention, it's actually in a palette, and it's in my Too Faced Natural Face palette, and it's my shade Sunny Honey. This one, I'm on Pan. I love this shade. It's lighter than my other, like my philosophy, my personal preference from how I apply my bronzer is I tend to go for bronzers especially when it comes to powder. Excuse you. Especially when it comes to powders, I tend to like to go a shade lighter because I don't like super deep bronzers on me because of my undertones. They can lean quite either ruddy or orange. So I tend to go a little bit lighter, tad bit more neutral depending on the season. Laguna 3 is like my shade. But Laguna, the original one, is probably a little bit lighter, but because it's so pigmented and it blends so well, it works perfectly for me in the winter. So yeah, that's my philosophy. So Sunny Honey is a little bit light, as you can see here, but when I build it up, it's so beautiful and it blends so lovely. And as you can see, I hit Pan on that because it's one of my favorite bronzers, guys. It really is. So yeah, those are my bronzers. Top 2 for powder, top 3 for cream, sue me. Let's do blush. We're gonna do blush. So my top 3, I have top 3 in creams and top 3 in powders. Am I cheating? Yes, I am. I don't care. So first up, we're going to do powders. And you guys know what my number 1 is, so don't even pretend like you don't. I'm not even gonna say much else about her. I'm wearing her today. Desert Orchid, Pat McGrath Desert Orchid. I'm not gonna say anything else. You know, if you know, you know. Pat McGrath Desert Orchid. Next, this is a newer addition to my collection, but it has quickly flung itself up the charts to take the number 2 spot in my heart, and that is M Cosmetics Faded Clementine. I love this blush. It is a stunner. I love it. I love it. And it has a sheen to it, just like Desert Orchid. You see a theme here? I like a good sheen, you know. Love this blush. Stunning. And third, I had a hard time with the 3rd spot, but I decided to pick a blush that I don't wear often, but I love it. I love it so much because I love the tones and I love how beautiful the tone is and I love how unique it is, and it makes me excited when I put it on and when I pick it up to use it. So it is Cover FX Sweet Mulberry Blush Duo. And this is the shiny, you know, sheeny, shiny side, and this is the matte side. And I showed this blush in my blush collection video. But yeah, look how pretty those are. It's just such a stunning shade, and I love it. I love it. It brings me joy. For my top 3 in creams. So first up is my Melt Cosmetics Cream Blush Light in Sandy Cheeks. She look like this. Beautiful. You've seen this in my blush collection video, so if you haven't seen that, watch it. You'll get all the lowdown on my feelings about all my blushes, but this one is one of my faves. Next up is my Giorgio Armani Neo Nude Melting Color Balm in the shade 45 Brick Red. I just love this formula. I want another shade. These have been sold out, and I'm really scared that they're discontinuing them in some capacity because I have not seen these in stock in months. And I'm like, what is going on? Because I want to buy one more of these, please. But also, please don't discontinue these. It's a beautiful formula. What is going on? I really hope they're not discontinuing these, guys. That would make me so sad. And third is my Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Cream Blush in Rosé Latte. And I'll show you what it looks like here. It's a little messy, but it's a beautiful tone. Look at that. Oh, it's a brownie. It's a brownie mauve tone. I love that in blush. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. Okay, so those were my top 3 in my blushes, bronzers, cream, and powder. Now let's get into highlighters. And this one is going to be harder for me because I just did a video talking all about my highlighters, and I just filmed it. I don't know if it's up yet. I filmed it recently, but I don't know which video will go up first. So I'm still in the struggle bus on what I want to rank as my top 3. I know that one of them will be Space Age Prophecy from Kaleidos, because this is probably number 1. This is my fave. This is not something that I wear all the time, but it's so unique to me and it's so special. And for me, sometimes the way I rank things is not always necessarily about the utility of them, but about the specialness, the uniqueness, and how they make me feel. I think those things are just as important when it comes to how you feel about the makeup that you own and you consume and you wear. It doesn't always have to be the workhorse item that ranks high. It can be the thing that just gives you joy. You know what I mean? So for me, this gives me joy. I have worn it. I've worn it quite a bit, and I've worn it as an eyeshadow. I've worn it as highlighter, and it just gives me all the joy, and I just love it. So this is number 1. In that same vein is my Ritual de Fille highlighter in the shade Chimera, which is a green highlighter, but it is a cream green highlighter, and it is one of the most stunning highlighters. If I can find the promo photo of what this highlighter looks like on various skin tones and sunlight, I will pop it in. Hopefully I can find it. But this is one of the most stunningly interesting, beautiful, and surprisingly versatile as far as the skin tones that it looks good on highlighters I have ever seen. And this was a limited edition item originally. I wanted it. I kept circling around it and talking myself out of it. I'm like, you don't need a green highlighter, Mara. You don't need a green highlighter. It went out of stock and it was gone, and I was devastated. And then they brought it back for a short period of time, and I was like, I'm getting it. So I got it, and I'm so glad I did. Again, it's not something that I wear all the time, but it's something that just brings me joy. And then tied for the 3rd spot are 2 highlighters that price point wise, they are very far apart, but also the tones are very similar, and I will show you. So Pat McGrath Divine Rose highlighter, Ultra Glow highlighter, and then Milani Hypnotic Lights in Flashing Light. Do you see how similar they are? I mean, they're not the same, but they're similar, especially once you like apply them. But I'm just torn about which one I love more. And I think I'm gonna give it to the Pat McGrath. That is the Pat McGrath, and this is the Milani. I think I'm gonna give it to the Pat McGrath, only because, as you can see, the Pat McGrath is just more shifty. I mean, this has shift in it, but it's just got a little bit of like extra, you know? So I guess I've made my decision on camera. So this is number 3, guys. This is number 3. This would be number 4, maybe, you know? But this is number 3. All right, guys, so those are my rankings, top 3 in every category for bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. Let me know in the comments down below, do you own any of these products? What are your top 3 in every category? If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, please be sure to subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye now.